Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video will be about symbols. I felt compelled to record this video because many of you already are very aware of the symbolism that is very important. Not only understanding some symbols gives you very instant answer to who the person is, or the business is, or the organization is, where do they belong, and what they really stand for. So today, maybe not in a very full depth into it, but to some extent, we're gonna look into those symbols, as the saying lately was circulating a few years ago. That's another questionable place where it was coming from, but the symbols will be their downfall. So let me start with telling you what kind of symbols I will be focusing on today. We're gonna look into the black cube, we're gonna look into the Star of David, and we're gonna look into the symbol of the bull, or sometimes it's a little bit mixed with different animals, and it comes to pretty much Moloch that they worship. So I want to take you to the first video that I came across, and this is a documentary, allegedly, and I don't think this is AI, but nowadays you really have to question everything. What is real, what is not. But let's take a look at this one, and it will explain a lot of symbolism as the first topic we're going to start with. So let's go into it. Black and white documentary from 1933.
It's July 3rd, 1933. 150,000 Jews gather at Soldier Field in Chicago to celebrate 3,000 years of Jewish history and nationhood by worshiping a fire-breathing statue of Moloch and feeding it children, which we can only hope were not real. The event was called the Romance of a People. It was organized by the Zionist Organization of America, sponsored by the Jewish Agency for Palestine, and produced by Meyer Weisgau, with help from Rabbi Solomon Goldman, as well as Maurice Samuel, the author of You Gentiles. One of the big speakers at the event was none other than Chaim Weizmann, first president of Israel, and the guy who, alongside Lionel Walter Rothschild, authored the Balfour Declaration, which was the agreement that dragged the U.S. into World War I, in exchange for the British stealing Palestine from Ottoman Turkey and allowing Jews to settle there. The event's Moloch worship and child sacrifice rituals, as an expression of Jewish history, confirmed that the modern Jews are satanic when sacrificing to their fire god Moloch and offering their children to them, which you will see in a video soon. They still do today. The Bible tells us that the descendants of these tribes shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of the Lord forever, confirming that Jews cannot be saved. Just as Jesus warned, they are the synagogue of Satan. And here is the video evidence of that. They were all there, worshiping their ancient tribal god and celebrating the coming war, which would lead to a new world with Jews at the top. The event took place within months of Hitler taking power. I believe this event, and those who made it happen, demonstrate the inseparability of our spiritual and racial struggles, both connected and in perfect line with the biblical timeline and its account of tribes and bloodlines. But whether or not you agree on that, the footage speaks volumes to the character, not only of the leading minds of early Zionism and organized Jewry, but of the Jewish spirit and people. Who builds a big statue of a bull with an oven in its stomach, makes it breathe fire, and then stuffs children, whether real or fake, into that oven while crying out like banshees and dancing around it? Jews. Only Jews. In the middle of Chicago, on a Monday. It's July 3rd.
So of course, another conspiracy theory, right, is all fake, but you know, I am being sarcastic, but brings some interesting points. Before I close this, and of course I will attach the link down below in the description box. someone left the comment here, which is really on point, and I want to read this. The Chicago Bulls, the charging bull statue, it's all in our face. Isn't it true, guys? I even didn't think about it. Chicago Bulls. How interesting, huh? So let me close this, and now I want to take you to a video. Why I decided to play this one for you is because this video gives you a very good summary and description of the symbolism, and it comes from someone that many people don't understand, or they don't appreciate, or they are laughing at, but someone who for so many years, I think over 30 years now, I think more than that, 40 years, was bringing those topics to people's awareness. And this is David Icke. And why I decided to play the video from him is because he is presenting it in such a great, short, simple way that from this we can go to the symbols again and look into those, for example, black cubes that he is mentioning. So let's take a listen and let's take a look. Not just the audio, but the video is important. So if you can, please pay attention.
To Saturn as Helios, the sun god. Satanism is Saturnism. Satanists worship the goat. The god himself is a symbol of Saturn because this planet is enthroned in Capricorn, whose emblem is a goat. And you see them on Beyonce, Lady Gaga, Baroness Philippine de Rothschild. This is called the magic square of Saturn, 666. This is the sigil of Saturn, the most obvious symbol of Freemasonry. Balmoral, the Scottish home of the royal family, the sigil of Saturn. This is an ancient symbol of Saturn. They then took it and put it on their fiefdom of Israel, the symbol of the Soviet Union, the symbol of Saturn, the hammer and the sickle. This is a permanent hexagon in the North Pole of Saturn. He's also the six-pointed star, and he's also the cube. The Kaaba is a symbol of Saturn. The black cube that Jewish people put on their third eye as part of their ritual is Saturn. So all these symbols are all representations of the frequency of Saturn. That's the matrix that's playing us. Plato referred
So you see, when I am presenting to you those videos lately, in which I am showing you Freemasons, or I am showing you Chabad Lubavitch, their outfits, people that are going to kiss the wall, touch the wall, leave the message for the wall. I don't know for who, you know where, to the Roman Empire fortress leftovers. With all the respect. Why I'm showing this all to you? Because it all comes down to the same type of energy. And they might be represented by different outfits, but they still are united by the same type of energy, by the same type of beliefs, even though on the surface, they might look like they are perfect. And you know where I'm going with this. So now let's look into this particular cube. Then we're gonna go to another video. When I was visiting New York for my first visit, I will not forget, I was still fully asleep, no clue about any of this, what I am talking about as far as the topics now. And I was fascinated, you know, with New York City and how vibrant, and I'm not saying that it does not have the good sides, used to have really good sides. But in that time, I still believed that United Nations stand for the good, okay? I really did. I'm sure I'm not the only one who believed that. And I went on a tour to United Nations building, to the headquarters there. And I went to that room, and I've mentioned this room a number of times, and I call it a chapel. Actually, it's not a chapel, it's a quiet room. That's how they call it. And I never forget the most awkward feeling I had when I entered it. Because when I enter it, let me show you, this is exactly what I saw. So, meditation room in United Nations, this is the room. This is how it looks like. You go inside, and all you have there is this black, kind of like a rectangle, but a cube. I mean, it's not perfect cube, but it's black, right? And it stands right in the center of it. You have chairs on this side, and this is what it is. I could not understand this place at all. All I knew, I felt really weird energy. So I left that place, and it took many, many years for me to come to some understanding about those black cubes. So first we're gonna go to those black cubes. As you can see it right here. A lot of times you see them on people's foreheads, or the third eye, as David Icke said. But those are the ones that stand actually in the cities. So you see this post here from Facebook. Here you have this Moloch and children sacrifice. Here is the Star of David, and here are the cubes. Some of the places they are located are in New York. So it's kind of like in a plain sight, but sometimes it's just not standing straight, but is on one edge, right? You have Australia, you have New York, World Trade Center. You see, this is what's remaining. They have this. You see this? Okay, so here you see Freemason. So you have black and white. Here is Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, Aleister Crowley, Sex Magic Cult. Here is Islam even took this and they are using this. You know, there are those celebrations, the prayers, they go around it. Here is Black Cube as well. And Talmud Jews on the forehead. Now I want to take you to another quick video that will be talking about particularly the Star of David. And let's take a listen to this one.
The Star of David is actually a sigil for the worst demon in existence. This demon is no other than Moloch. Now, in case you guys are not aware, Moloch is the exact demon that all these elites are worshiping. It's the demon associated with the crimes against children. Now, going a little bit deeper into this, you see this in the Bible actually in Acts 7:43. It talks about this star and it talks about Moloch directly associating the two. Now, what would be really weird is if we had a country in existence that used this star to represent themselves. Now, another thing that would make this extremely weird is if this same country had a history of sacrificing children, seeing that that's what Moloch specializes in and asks people to do. So if there was a nation that used this star to represent themselves and they sacrifice children frequently and by the thousands and thousands, wouldn't you think that the people of this nation actually worship Moloch? And wouldn't it be even weirder if the Bible actually talked about this? In Revelation 3:9, it points the same direction, talking about the synagogue of Satan and those who claim to be Jews but are not Jewish at all, that they're faking. Now, adding my personal 2 cents into this interesting concept that we're talking about, I actually think this extends past the Jews. I think there is Muslims who pretend to be Muslim that aren't. And I also think there's Christians that pretend to be Christian that aren't. I mean, the dude who started Gateway Mega Church just got arrested, Robert.
So the video is breaking, but I agreed. Every religion has been infiltrated, so it does not really matter if it's just from the Jews, because in Islam is the same, and in Christianity, and I'm talking about Catholics, is the same, absolutely the same. Another video will be about Vatican and Jesuits, so it's not for today's video. But before we close this, I want to read you 2 comments here. Gaza is about children sacrifice. Yes, of course. It's another person. It's also mentioned in Quran as Baal. So Moloch or Baal, the same creature. Now, when I listened to this guy, I just thought to myself once again that any conflict that is being prolonged is for one of those reasons mainly. For blood sacrifice and human sacrifice. And I'm talking from both sides. It doesn't really matter at this point because there is a project in the making, and I'm actually talking about Ukraine in this particular moment, and actually Gaza as well, because the new Israel project is absolutely in the making. So it's not about finishing this fast. It's about sacrificing as many people as possible, human trafficking, as well as making sure that the new land will be ready. A lot of people will be evacuated or will just run away from it. And the newcomers or oldcomers can step in. So let's look into one more very informative post from Facebook. I'm going to read you this. There is a lot of read, but bear with me. Saturn worship is your reality. Saturn worship is everywhere in all of your corporations, religions, and advertising. The cube represents Saturn. It is worshipped in Mecca. Jews wear a tefillin, a black cube on their heads over their pineal gland. If you geometrical represent the cross, it becomes a cube. I'm not sure if this is correct, but you have Solomon's temple, and the Holy of Holies in the temple was a cube. You see the black cubes on the Wall Street and other corporations around the world. You have the apple stones shaped like a cube. The Soviet Union flag of the hammer and the sickle represents Saturn. The Jesuits have the symbol of Saturn in their logo. The snake on the cross is also a representative of Saturn. The Freemasons call their god the architect of the universe, the archon technology of the universe. This word I'm not familiar with, but let me try to pronounce. The Demiurge, was known by the Gnostics as the great architect of the universe. Saturn is represented by the figure Kronos. Kronos represents time. Kronos is pictured with a wide beard holding a sickle. Saturn is known as Father Time. He also became the Grim Reaper of death. The Masonic symbol of the compass and square are just a representation of the symbol of Saturn. Kronos became crown related to the bloodlines. Do you see how it's all connected, guys? This is actually a very good post. The worship of Ra or the Saturn or the sun is Saturn worship. Saturn was the Earth's primordial sun. You see it in the picture of Isis. You're going to see images after I read this. The Hebrew god El was the god of Saturn. The Elohim of those who are in service to Saturn became the elite. You see? Elite. Isn't it interesting? The words, the symbols, the pictures. The El and Elohim is the Demiurge or Demiurge, sorry guys, I don't know the word, and archons. You have an archangels, angel, El. Archon and El, Michael, Raphael, Uriel, Gabriel. Another name for Jesus is Emmanuel. You have the gospel, worship is a Hael. You have elections, so elections, it's crazy, to elect leaders who serve the elite. So There is more. I'm going to attach the link down below. It's a really long read, so I recommend you to go through this. But now let's look into the images that this person presented. So all those stars, you see, all those cubes, it's all connected. Incredible. Now we have more here. So you see those I already showed you, those statues as well. And you will have the link down below so you can dive into it. And you can really do your own research. 3 big monotheistic religions that lead to Saturn. Yep. When you unfold the cube, and here you have Israel. Israel. Is a spirit, rise, mind, balanced. A manifest of consciousness represented as El, who is the God within. Kabbalah. Hexagon. Here we go. And here you have Brotherhood, Freemasonry, and this symbol, isn't it, on the American dollar, everyone, above the pyramid. Everywhere you see those symbols, I mean, you kind of know. And here we have Gmail, Google Chrome, Facebook, Walmart here, FYI, Microsoft, Cube, Google GPS. And of course, you know, I don't go to those concerts, but Jay-Z, Beyonce, they have to show you the triangle. Here is an American dollar, all seeing eye of Chorus. And 666, carbon-based life form. All forms of life are based on the bonding properties of the element carbon. So when you think about this new Green Deal, the Green New Deal scam, carbon. Does the Bible mention the Star of David? The Jewish community of Prague was the first to use the Star of David as its official symbol, and from the 17th century on, the 6-pointed star became the official seal of many Jewish communities and a general sign of Judaism, though it has no biblical or Talmudic authority. And here you see the symbols on the Pope. I don't know how you call this hat that he wears. Right here, on many buildings, actually, guys, when you pay attention. And many countries I've seen those kind of buildings. I always look up at the facades of the buildings, at the architecture. It's just my thing, because I see those symbols everywhere. And in Islam, there we go. So I think that's all I have for you today. I hope you find this video interesting, and you, of course, many of you have very vast knowledge about those topics. So, like I say, pay attention, because they tell you one thing, but their actions say another, their associations say another. And even if they pretend not to be a certain believers, how they call those? Crypto Jew? I have to go into this topic one day, into those crypto Jews, because that's an interesting one. You know, like you have those narcissists that pretend not to be. I forgot the word, but you know what I mean. I will attach the links down below in the description box. Thank you so much for watching, for supporting my work. Lately, few more videos have been demonetized, and that was the video about the wall, actually. Yeah, the video about the wall, you know, this famous wall that everyone likes to go or is forced to go to visit. Doesn't matter how high they are, presidents or not, they still have to go touch the wall. That video, this platform decided to demonetize, so I appreciate your support very much. And the links to my Patreon, PayPal, and locals will be down below this video, as well as every other video I played for you. And if you have Instagram, make sure to follow me there. It's AniaK_44. Also, if you appreciate the content, thumbs up. Very, very grateful for your support, subscription, and leave the comments down below. And that's it, everyone. Lots of love. And remember, we are the leading edge and we are saving humanity. And I see you in another video. That one will be probably who really runs the world. Is it the Zionists or is it the Jesuits? We're going to look into it. But for now, thank you so much for watching and I see you in the next one.